Hello everyone, welcome back to my video on the basics of guitar. Thank you for the previous feedback on the last 3 videos, as well as any questions you may have asked on those videos. I'm trying to answer as many as I can that I'm able to answer. As always, if you have missed any of the last 3 videos, their links will be in the descriptions of this video, as well as a card I'm going to place in the top corner of this one, which leads to a playlist with parts 1, 2 and 3 in them. So, in this video, we will be talking about the open D chord and transitioning between the different chords to get more comfortable with the placement of your hands and fingers on the fretboard and actually when playing the guitar. This will also help with playing songs with multiple chord changes in a short amount of time. The D chord is a simple chord that requires only 3 fingers to play. However, this chord you'll be strumming the bottom 4 strings, which can make this chord a little bit challenging to some beginners. So it looks and sounds like this. I've just demonstrated to you how the D chord should look and sound, and by the end of this video you will be able to play the same chord. This one's a bit more simple than the others, maybe not the E, but a bit more the E minor, but a bit more simple, as it only uses the high E string, known as the 6th string on the bottom, or the bottom string. We'll also be using the B string and the G string. These 3 strings are the 3 thinnest strings on the guitar. The frets we will be using for this are the 2nd fret on the high E, the 3rd fret on the B, and the 2nd fret on the B. Sorry, the B, the G, the B, and the E. And you'll be strumming the bottom 4 strings rather than all 5 or all 6 like in the other videos. Just in case you missed any of that, I will repeat the process. So the 2nd fret on the high E and the G string, and then the 3rd fret on the B string. Once all of your fingers are placed on the correct frets, string the bottom 4 strings, missing the top 2, E and A. As a reminder, if you are still confused with any of the chords I've shown you in this series, I'm including the link in the description to a full playlist for easy access. Now that you've learnt these 4 chords, the E minor, the G, the C and the D, I will show you some techniques to transfer between each of these chords quickly and efficiently. I think first we should start off with practicing changing between the G and the C chord, as this can be quite difficult for some beginners. I recommend that you practice at first slowly switching your hands from the C chord over round into the G chord. This will allow muscle memory to have those chord shapes locked in. Once you're comfortable with slowly switching between the chords, I would say that you should start doing the same, but actually pressing your fingers down on the fretboards in the shape of the chords. So before you were just pretending to swap over, now try and actually play the chords. Once you've done it over and over and over again, you will find it a lot easier to transition between after a few days of consistent practice. You will also be able to switch between them consistently and comfortably. Try strumming the chord changes just in a pattern, doesn't have to mean anything. After getting more comfortable, try to speed it up a little bit. The next chord change we will try is switching between G into D. In this transition we are going to use a technique I like to call finger anchoring. This means if a chord has a fret and a string in common with the next chord, then you will leave that finger in position and move the rest of your fingers if it is comfortable to do so. This will also help with muscle memory, as your hand and fingers will get used to these chord shapes relative to where your anchor finger will be. A great example of this for beginners is switching between G and D chord, as they both share the same fret on the B. As you can see, my ring finger hasn't moved. Straight into D. Just move these 2 fingers and remove the pinky. This may seem complicated, but it is actually quite a simple shape and transition once you know the position and the shape after plenty of practice. Again, as we did from C into G, practice this movement slowly in your free time. This will get your brain used to the shape, which will let you move your hands and fingers a lot quicker into the chord shape. Once you're comfortable with that, try speed it up a little bit more. You can also try adding a metronome into your practice, which is just a little device which ticks and gives you a good BPM, and you can slow it down, speed it up, whichever you feel more comfortable with. If you feel like you're going too fast, you can slow it down. You can practice by going back and forth between those chords and really focus on the chord change. If you were using your strumming hand as well, then you'll be thinking about which strings to strum and place, as well as where you're going to be placing your fingers. Again, just be slow with it, just take your time if you need to. If you feel comfortable, then by all means, just really go for it. Now that I've shown you a couple different methods on transitioning between chords, go and have a go at transitioning between other chords I've taught you. Remember, if the next chord you're going to play has a finger positioned in the same place, so in the same fret on the same string, then keep that finger there as an anchor. Play around with the different chords I've taught you so far and see how quickly you can change between them. It doesn't matter how the chords sound when played, one after the other. Just have a practice switching between the different chord shapes and timing between them, just to get that feeling of changing between. So, for example, let's do a C to a G to a D, A minor, C, G, D, A minor. That's everything for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you did enjoy. I would much appreciate a like or comment letting me know what you thought of this video, and if you would like to see any specific content uploaded in the future. Have a look in the description for a link to my playlist on other videos on beginner tips, basics and chord shapes. If this has been a help for you, I'm glad, and I hope you continue with your guitar journey and really go for it, because trust me, guitar is a hell of a lot of fun once you properly give it a go.